I think I might have like one more cheat meal lined up before I like cannot have another for the rest of prep.
Oh, fuck. Special delivery. You sit here and hold the mic for me while I eat. I gotta take a bite.
That looks good.
This is torturous for you. I'm sorry.
It's a rough day to be on prep. Yo, give it a rating. You're just gonna blue ball us with the rating?
This thing, it's soggy, it's greasy, it's wet. I love it. It's a 10. Welcome to this very special episode. I know I say it's a very special episode every single episode because these episodes are all special. Today, we're here with Colton Holland. Colton Holland Fit, CHF, if you will. Do you have any other nicknames that we're not familiar with here?
Well, for my coaching business, I go by CH Coaching. Only the OGs remember my username being CFit when I first started.
Yep.
So that was a big thing when I got
Any
started.
underscores or dashes or dots in there, or just CFit?
Oh, that's not a username that's used. That was dropped a while ago. Okay. That's like an OG.
Okay.
That's an OG thing. No, I just go Colton Holland Fit on Instagram, Colton_Holland TikTok, Colton Holland Coaching for my coaching accounts.
There you go. So kind of tell the audience, because obviously I know who you are. Mm-hmm. Tell the audience who you are, how we met, a little bit about your background. Give them the whole rundown that they need to know to, really take the most out of this podcast.
Okay, yeah. So where do I even start with this?
I'm gonna be a little bit more relaxed here. Lay back, you know.
Join me.
Yeah.
Okay, so before I got into lifting let's go way back in time. Before I got into lifting, I was a skinny ass kid. But I love basketball, so I became a less skinny, but still skinny as shit kid. But I was a very serious basketball athlete. I was going to play basketball in college until I started lifting for basketball. And I feel like this is how every lifter starts. They start lifting for the sport. They fall in love with the gains. They completely drop the sport. That's what I did. My mom was pissed at me. She was like, you could play in college. You could get scholarship money. Why would you not do that? I was like, I want to get jacked. I want to try, because I always wanted to try being on social media, getting a following. I was like, that could be pretty cool. So it came around junior year. I quit basketball. I started lifting. And the day I started lifting, a lot of people don't do this. I would somewhat recommend it. It depends on the situation. But the day I started lifting was the day I started posting content. And there's this whole thing that's stay down till you're up. I think that's stupid. But I also think if I waited a while to get started on content, it would have benefited me because I would have had a better idea of what I was doing rather than just making stupid shit. And we can get into that. But yeah, so the last 2 years, I've just been focusing on that. Big science-based lifter. I do a lot of studying on my own time. I've been studying longer than I've actually been lifting because the science of body recomposition, kinesiology, anatomy, nutrition was always super interesting to me. So I think for my age and my experience level in actually lifting, my progress has been quite fast. I started off, I was 160 pounds, fucking skinny. Now I'm 185, leaner than I've ever been. That amount of progress in 25 years, in 2 years, 25 pounds in 2 years of muscle, that's not very common, even with newbie gains. I think my knowledge shows that. So I was I love doing this for myself. I'd love to help other people get to that point. So I started coaching, and that's where I'm at today.
Beautiful. And then, so kind of just to give a little bit of background on, you kind of mentioned how how you started to grow your following. You wish you kind of waited to. What was the analogy that you used? You're down until you're up, or what would you say?
Yeah. So in the gym community, specifically online, stay down till you're up is a phrase that's used to put down a lot of beginner lifters who post. It's if you don't have a good physique, stay down, don't post until you have a good physique, you're up. That phrase is thrown around everywhere. If you are a beginner posting on social media, you post tips, or you post a video of you posing, an edit, stuff like that. Yeah. And the comments will be flooded with stay down till you're up, bro.
Yeah. Do you think that that's toxic aspect of the gym community, or do you kind of understand?
Oh, I think it's toxic. Yeah. I mean, it's toxic, no doubt. I think if you're just trying to post to have fun. I think you should feel like you can post whenever you want.
Mm-hmm.
However, if you're looking to take it long term, like I was, if you're looking to build like an audience and make like scale it and turn it into something that's monetizable, I think you should stay down until you know what the fuck you're doing. Because I really wish I did that, and I'm getting to the point now where I'm feeling the repercussions of it, and the repercussions of building a following off of something that isn't like gonna be there long term, big consequences, and that's what I'm dealing with right now.
Yeah. So you said how do you kind of combat that? Like what like how do you kind of like convert because this is some stuff that we've all talked about over the past like.
Oh, we've talked about this so many times.
That's why it feels like a little bit unnatural. Like I'm like, okay, I'm gonna ask him this question. I already know the answer to the question.
Yeah, you already know.
But you guys don't know the answer to the question.
Okay,
that's what matters.
Context. Over the past 8 months, there's probably like 8 months since moving to Tampa, maybe like 6.
Yeah.
6 or 7. Over that time span, I have lost followers and engagement in my accounts. I came to Tampa with 120,000 on Instagram, I think like 116,000 on TikTok. Now on Instagram, I'm at 104,000, so that's 16,000 followers lost in that time span, and 113,000 on TikTok. And my engagement has dipped. Surprisingly, my monetization, like the ability of that, has not. So that's like an interesting thing that you can like realize for yourself. Engagement and views does not always equal money. But there is a very strong like correlation. So lately I've been trying to like figure out how to fix that. It's like stressful as shit. But what I am doing is I'm creating new accounts and I'm practically starting from scratch, because all followers are not built the same. I realized this way too late. The amount of followers you have actually doesn't fucking matter one bit. It matters how tight your community is and how many people will actually they actually fuck with you like heavy in your content. You want those loyal followers. The more loyal followers you have, those are what matters. Like, it doesn't matter. I had 120,000 on Instagram. There were people with maybe 10,000 making twice as much money as me, 10 times as much money as me. People don't understand that. Like, it's not like a linear line. So that's how I messed up, because a lot of my following was gained just me talking about my opinions. It was like the end of senior year of high school was when I really blew up, because I started talking more about like the gym community, like rallying against like the LGBT community, like the normalization of like drugs and alcohol and like young culture, hookup culture, Andrew Tate even like a couple times, calling out like gym frauds, like asshole influencers. It was stuff like that got me my following. And then also I've started like a couple trends. I used to be like a big edit audio guy. That was like my early days, how I gained my following then. And then I actually got into these like more complex like cooking edits that turns like all deep and shit. Yeah. And that was what carried me from like 60K to like 110K or something like that. Like it was a big thing. And that was like talking about like mental health and stuff like that, like men's mental health, because like no one really talks about those subjects. Yeah. And it gets views, it gets all that stuff, it gets like support. Like a lot of people are like, "Yo, that's awesome," and like I help people, but the thing was, it wasn't targeting a specific niche. It was like none of it was built around fitness, and that's what I want to do long term. That's how I fucked up. So when I got to the point where I couldn't make those videos anymore because they died off, people have seen them many times, time and time again. They're not interested in that anymore. Yeah. It was either find another video format or like just stick to my niche. And I tried to stick to my niche because I was like, okay, I have this following. I want to coach people. I want to make a difference in their lives with their fitness and their performance, get them fucking jacked, get them shredded. And a majority of my followers did not give a shit about that because they just want to hear me be controversial, talk about my opinions with an unfiltered attitude, which was what I did. And because of that, my followers just like pretty much stopped engaging. Like I went from averaging like 30, 40,000 views a video. Now I'm like considering it solid if I get like 15 or 20,000 views a video on Instagram. Lately it's been like around 10K. So
Our video did well though. We got like 33. Right
I was
now.
at
That's
like
what's pretty
33.
good.
Yeah, that was a good one.
But that's still not the type of content that you want to be posting like
No,
long
like
term, right?
it's like no, it's like that kind of stuff. Like it's like content, like yeah, it's content that's for like clicks and stuff. And people don't like. There's depth to with which metrics actually correlate the best with success, and like views, likes, comments, like all that shit. That like basic stuff. General follower count, that does not equal success at all when it comes to long-term social media and making it a career. I think that's a big misunderstanding. Like people, when I was like senior year of high school, when I started like gaining a lot of followers and I was around like 40,000 on like Instagram and TikTok, I had people from my grade finally acknowledge that I was actually doing something that was like, it was like, oh shit, he's actually like making this work. Like he's not just a fucking weirdo posting gym content. But a lot of people were DMing me. They were like, yo, like everyone's saying you're making like 20, 30,000 a year off this, which now I barely make that much like off my social media. But I was like, the fuck no. Like I've made maybe $300 total off this in the first like year and a half. Yeah, I've made maybe like $300, $500 total. People don't realize that. Like there's levels to social media, there's levels to metrics, and there's a lot of underlying factors that determine someone's success far more than follower count or anything like that could.
Okay. And then kind of gate like that how, from an outside perspective, how do you think I'm doing with like building that like community? Because it's hard because I'm like in an echo chamber. Like everybody like tells me like, oh bro, you're doing such a good job. But like from an outside perspective, because I mean you said that you regret the way that you built your following. How do you see it like translating to the way that we're building our following right now?
But I think the way you're doing it, I mean, you're so small, so it's easier to keep that tight community. But with your general audience being like college student, like, and specifically men, right? Mm-hmm. So like I think your audience is like perfect. Like you're marketing mainly to like your Snapchat, which is like a lot of college students, Instagram like that. I think you're doing a great job. You're posting a lot, and it's a lot of like in-depth stuff. You're showing like the attitude. It's like, oh, I don't give a fuck about, like, you guys can hate. Yeah. I acknowledge it, but I'm not going to let that hold me back. I think that's like getting a lot of people on your side, because it's like, oh, you either have people talking about you because they're hating on you, or they're talking about you because they're really on your fucking side. They're like, oh, yeah, fuck those haters. Let's fucking succeed. So I think you're doing a great job on that front. It just comes to scaling that, because like it's different, because I have a service-based business that's on a specific niche. When you're looking to build like a massive social media platform, that's a lot different when it comes to how tightly you have to stick to your niche. Because like stuff that appeals to college men, there's a large majority of that shit. There's like sports, which is mainly what you do. Yep. Sports, lifting, partying,
beers, babes, and barbells.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Beers, babes, and barbells. Like it's all that kind of stuff. So there's you have a lot more leniency. But you just have to make sure like your personal brand is linked almost one-on-one with Diesel University. So you have to make sure you keep that attitude you have going until it starts to scale. Yeah. Because that is what people are going to rally. If you like switch up and you start being like this like pussy, you just bitching out, just being like, oh guys, don't hate, like all that stuff, like that's how you're going to fucking lose people. Yeah. Like you got to stick with that, like that identity that you've built for yourself, and you got to run with it.
Yeah. And people like that, like, I don't know. That's where we've seen the most growth is through hate. And like, I fucking love it. Like if people are talking about my brand, like taking time out of their day to talk about my brand, you either like nobody like really, 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 really hates me. Like, like I haven't had anybody say anything negative. I think it's probably like one or two people just keep saying like stuff.
No, they just clown on you for the fun of it, because it gets them attention. It gets them likes and shit like that. Yeah. What a lot of people don't understand is hate, and actually acknowledging hate. One of the best strategies you can do for actually like gaining a following and getting like recognition on social media. Like a lot of people don't realize this. A lot of creators have many burner accounts, and they will comment hate on their own posts to reply to those comments with other posts. Now that you can do that on Instagram and TikTok, like no one realizes that. Like, a lot of social media is actually scripted out like that. Or you have friends. Like, we were talking about this before we started the podcast. There's like fake beasts on social media where you can like pin two audiences against each other.
Yeah.
And then they will go at it, and the fucking, like, the rallying they will do, the engagement they will show each other, it just, like, exponentially grows the strength and the size of your brand. So, like, a lot of people don't realize that about hate. Like, hate is good for your brand if managed properly.
Like, think about, like, a guy like Jake Paul, how much money he's made off of the hate. Like, everybody wants to see him get knocked out. He's probably paying these guys. Like, do you really think that I think you heard about how he's going to fight Mike Tyson too.
Yeah, like, honestly, if he does not get fucking rocked by Mike Tyson, it's like done deal that it's like rigged, it's scripted, all that stuff. Yeah. But like, it's smart. It's marketing. Mm-hmm. Like, when you
he's branded himself as the problem child. That's literally the nickname that he coined for himself.
Like, yeah, and it's like he's paying these guys to market that persona, and people will put money in his pocket just because they want to see him fucking fail.
Yeah.
So, like, he's investing into fighters to fight him and lose, and he's getting more out of that. Like, it's good investments.
Yeah. It is crazy, though, like, how it's just weird. Like, I think that, yeah, like I said, the most growth that we've seen is through just, like, hate and, like, just me being like, I don't really give a fuck what you have to say. I'm just going to keep doing what I do. Like, I don't know how heavily I want to lean into that, but if I just started, I was thinking about doing like a series where I do on my Snapchat and like just reply to hate comments and like break them down and just be like just like go in and show, because like I think I can be a funny kid. I don't really show that side to me especially in podcasts, because I like usually carry like very serious podcast interviews. But I mean, this is probably the most Kanye, you think this is the most I've ever talked on a podcast right now? Like, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So people don't really know me like that, but I guess if you're watching this, all 300 of you who watch the podcasts, this is who I am, and gonna be more of me. Oh fuck! Hold on. We have a special delivery.
Is coming.
Special delivery. Oh fuck! Wait. I don't want it to get. Yeah. What do I do? Who's gonna hold the mic? Yeah, can you sit here and hold the mic for me while I eat? Hold on. Wait, we gotta resume our conversation here.
Oh yeah, so I was gonna say, one thing about that is you want to make sure
this is crazy.
You want to make sure your entire personality online, your persona, is not built around the hate, because that can die off very quickly. Mm-hmm. And you also got to remember is, although you could be the most interesting people consistently, the common denominator is you. If people will watch the podcast because they want to listen to you talk, they will watch every single podcast. If they only watch the podcast because they want to listen to your guests, they're only going to watch maybe like 10%, 30% of your podcast.
Yeah.
So you got to invest in your own personal brand as well as your like Sirius Diesel University. Like, even if you're asking a professional about those questions, giving your own insight shows that like you can like.
I gotta take a bite.
That looks good.
Hold on.
It's a rough day to be on prep. Fuck me, dude.
This is torturous for you. I'm sorry, but
that looks so good.
Supposed to do the burrito challenge too tonight. You forgot about that.
Oh yeah, I'm eating a burrito in under a minute tonight here.
Light work.
It is National Burrito Day.
Dude, I'm getting tired here. Dude, especially a salsa rico burrito. No, dude. I will literally be just like, when I would get a salsa rico burrito, I will bring it up to my room, put on a YouTube video, and it's just fucking gone within 2 minutes of casually eating. Like, in a minute, that is light work. If I wasn't on prep right now, I would literally go and get one and bring it here to prove it.
What'd you do in your first one?
That was a bad attempt. Minute 24, got sloppy, got all over my face, spilled some. It was terrible.
Is there like any requirements for what you need to have in it?
Just your order. I mean, don't be picky. Like, don't be stingy with it. You know.
I just wouldn't go with anything like overly messy. Like, I wouldn't put queso in it.
Oh, I put queso in there and sour cream.
So, I mean, sour cream.
Because I thought it would help get it down, but it didn't.
So thick.
I feel like, the queso,
It's definitely thick.
that'd be where it gets you. But, like, sour cream and guac on that?
Look at this thing.
No guac. Is this ruining the podcast?
No.
We can always cut this
Yeah.
out.
It's a good segment.
Yo, give it a rating. Yeah,
It's like a gay porno rating.
you're just gonna blue ball us with the rating? Let's hear it.
This thing, it's soggy. It's greasy. It's wet. I love it. It's a 10. No, honestly, I'd give it like a 6.9.
Wow. 6'9". That's good though. You're a meat guy.
Yeah, I'm a meat guy. I mean, you put a little bit more fucking what kind of meat is this? Pork. We love the porks.
I also like the flavor of the actual meat though.
It's nothing special.
It's just pork.
Yeah, they could
You
put
gotta
some.
top it with something.
They could have put sauce on there or like just straight
Oh,
up
I
pork.
did go with I went with the bare minimum here. He said I want that, so I said all right, that's fine.
They could have some like slop sauce or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, get some extra like barbecue on that.
There's no barbecue.
Dude, I've been like some like good barbecue. Like I've been craving that shit for a minute.
The shit's good actually.
I think I might have like one more cheat meal lined up before I like cannot have another for the rest of prep.
What's the cheat meal gonna be?
I don't know. I haven't figured that out yet. I
You
might.
make like how many calories will a cheat meal be? For?
Last one was maybe like 3,000. I ate a bit too much all you can eat sushi.
Oh shit!
Like I held back and I had 62 pieces.
Yeah. 3,000 calories.
62 pieces of sushi.
That's not even my PR.
What's your PR for sushi?
And
And how much does that cost? How much is 62 pieces of
Well, it's all
sushi
you can
cost?
eat.
I go all you can eat, so it's like 20
Oh,
bucks.
Shit, that's
Where
crazy.
do you eat that at?
Sushiyama for lunch, 20 bucks, dude. I mean the Uber too, but like it's so fucking good. The PR I've probably had in one meal was on my 10,000 calorie challenge. I went to the Cheesecake Factory and I smashed their biggest bowl, their highest calorie bowl of pasta, like the pasta carbonara. That was like 3,200. And then after that, I also had all their bread that they gave me. That's a necessity. And then I had an entire slice of their highest calorie cheesecake.
Wow,
So that was
just
That was 5,500 calories in a single sitting.
Oh man.
That was great. Thank you to what's the name? Two Rivers,
Four Rivers. Four Rivers Smokehouse.
Four Rivers Smokehouse. Thanks for the snack.
With the pulled pork sandwich.
All right, now we can really dive into it. Let's talk about
let's
calories and food and
Lock in.
yeah, we're locked in here. What was your? Oh, this is gonna be a whole different podcast now that I'm fueled up. This is my first food of the day, first calories of the day,
What
right
the
here.
fuck, dude?
Yeah.
I only have 200 left on the day.
Oh, I can feel it. I can feel
Complete.
it coursing into my
That's
veins.
opposites.
Yeah. It's been a grind of a day.
I bet.
Yeah. Anyways, let's talk about that 10,000 calorie day. What does 10,000 calories look like?
Yeah, so when I did that day, I could have done it in a way smarter fashion. Like, I made it unreasonably harder for myself. If I did it again today, I think I could for sure do it. So I started off in the morning. This is when I was still sponsored by Flex Pro Meals. I dropped them because I stopped eating their stuff. I had two of their meal prep services. That was like 1,000 calories. Then I had half of 5 protein bars, or maybe 6, because we were doing like a taste test for the video. Then I had 2 pieces of toast with jelly, and it was like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and I only had 2,000 calories down.
Oh,
So I fucked myself on
Yeah.
that. That was already like 150 grams of protein. So
yeah.
it was a bad move. And then for lunch, I had what I said at Cheesecake Factory. And then after that, it was just poor decision after poor decision. After that, I went and I got a Philly cheesesteak with fries. And that was only an additional 1,500 calories maybe. Because you got to think about it. It's just protein and potatoes. And those
Yeah.
are the two like most filling foods, like cheese too. And then after that, I double fucked myself. I went and I got sushi. Another incredibly filling thing.
Yeah, the rice fills you up like
Right? The rice wasn't I had some takoyaki. Do you know what that is?
no.
So takoyaki, it's like these fried dough balls with octopus in it.
Okay.
Super good. I love them when they're made properly. Sadly, barely anyone around here makes them properly, especially if you go to like all you can eat places.
Yeah.
If you go to an actual Japanese like restaurant, you're gonna get them super good. So that was fucked me up. And after that, I was at like 8,500 calories. Pulled over on the side of the highway, yacked all it up.
So you get a restart. That doesn't count. You didn't.
I was not going 100% with the rules. I didn't want to, but I didn't rule that out. Cause I thought I would, for the fucking content, might as well get it done. If I didn't do that, I probably would have given up at that point. So I threw up, and then I was driving back from where I was the whole day, and I drove by Dairy Queen, and I was like, fuck it, we can hit 10K.
Yeah.
So I pull up like 5 minutes before Dairy Queen closes, order their highest calorie blizzard. It was like the extreme brookie extra large blizzard, which was 1,600 calories.
That's so gross. Like that's. I don't know. I feel like that would just be so gross to eat. Like,
it's the gross. Like it wasn't even like it was gross, but it was extra gross because of how much I've already eaten that day.
But there are people who live for that shit.
That shit's crazy. I can't imagine like doing that.
There are people who get that like on a frequent basis.
I don't know how people can let themselves get to that point. Like that's insane to me. I used to be a fat boy. Like I got up to 230 because I was just eating. But even then, I wouldn't let myself eat that kind of food. Anyways, I got down like 2/3 of it, threw up again. That shit came up. It was still cold.
Oh God,
it was so bad. Gross. It was bad.
It's actually so fun.
It was so gross.
It's like in like were you like driving? Like you had to pull over to throw up again, or
I ate that back at the house because I had to go home, like lay down on my couch for like 2 hours, and then I was like, all right, let's fucking get this over with. And then after throwing up, I went back and I finished the rest of it to hit 10,100 calories.
That's crazy. And like like NFL players and like JJ Watt eats 10,000 calories a day when he was like in his prime, like on a regular basis.
Yeah, I don't know how much fucking activity a day they're doing to do that. Like, that's absurd to me.
Yeah,
I don't know how you could do that, especially off clean food.
That seems expensive too.
It's obviously like, I mean, professional athletes spend so much money on like food, but they can afford it.
Yeah,
they're making millions. If I was making millions, I would only be eating the top notch shit. I'd be eating salmon, trout, like all natural, 90% ground beef, fucking eggs, like all the cleanest shit you would like get every single day. Like there would not be a single flaw in my diet if I was.
Well, we'll get to that point eventually, soon, hopefully.
Soon.
But what's the guy Brian Shaw? Like his, I saw a day in the life of his diet.
Oh, he's also fucking massive.
Yeah, but like, bro, like I think he eats like 14,000 calories on a regular daily basis.
Brian Shaw, I think it's like 11, 12,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then again, you got to remember he's like 6'10", 400 something pounds of all muscle. And he's on a lot of fucking steroids. Yeah. Like, yeah, he's going to be able to put food down like a madman.
Yeah. Yeah, he's fucking insane.
The shit they can do is crazy. That's, like, a lot of people will consider my strength genetics pretty solid. Like, within 11 months of lifting, I was able to bench 275.
That's not bad at all.
Not at all. And, like, I can, like, RDL 4 plates for reps and stuff like that. But I just, like, getting to that point, like elite powerlifters, it's so impressive.
Yeah. Well, Art, like, bro,
yeah, I know.
Art was like 150 benching 315.
Oh, I saw him.
It's insane.
I saw him bench. He was in my my biokinetics lab. He put up, I think it was like 345 in that class or something.
Oh, that's shit. So. There were girls in your class too. That's like what you live for. Like to be in that. To be like, think about it, bro. You're in class with all like you're a freshman and all these hot girls in your class, and you just throw up 345 as a part of like your fucking lesson.
Hey, all I'm gonna say is I won the leg press and the deadlift.
There you go. What'd you get? What was your what are your numbers?
We didn't do barbell deadlifts. It was like a machine where you stand on it and you just pull on a bar as hard as you could. I forget what it was for like the weight. I think I got up to like 470 or something.
That's good.
Leg press. the most I did in that class, I put like 6 or 7 plates on each side. Did it for like 6 or 7 reps.
Damn.
Yeah, back in my like ego lifting leg days, I was able to do 10 on each side with a 25 on each side.
Damn.
So like, it was like, I believe it was 1,050 pounds for 6 reps.
That's
but
crazy.
It was like to the point where I like barely got 90-degree knee flexion, which is still better than most ego lifters.
Yeah.
But still, it's
Not optimal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If it's not ass to grass, I won't do it now.
Yeah. And like you're not really gaining any, like you're just gonna like hurt yourself.
Oh yeah, I got awful like knee and lower back pain from that shit. It was strictly for the ego. It
Like
was
look at like a guy like Ronnie Coleman now, like walks around with like 2 canes, like his legs don't even fucking work anymore.
Oh yeah, he fucked his back up so bad. I forget like what he did. I'm pretty sure he got like surgery on it and he just didn't let it heal before
Like a
he got
spinal
it.
fusion, or I think he got like a spinal fusion.
It was something like that. But like, yeah, definitely like a lot of lifters are taking a more like safer approach, but it's also because it's a lot more like, it's actually more optimal. Like it increases your muscle growth a lot more to use the more stable machines and stuff like that. So I think that also like, that's a win-win for the bodybuilding community.
For sure. What else? We had, you want to like rip some of your questions and stuff too?
Sure, why not?
What do you say? Back and forth? What do you mean back and forth? Oh,
Yeah, I'll ask one. Okay, I'll ask one that will be relative to my video. Do you think college is a good way to financial security nowadays?
Oh, this is a good question for it. This is a great question. I could really break this down.
Talk about it.
If you're not a STEM major, college is a joke. College is, you know what college is? It's an institutional money grab. It's just like, I think that, okay, I'm an entrepreneurship major at the University of Tampa right now. So are you.
Here.
Yep. What? Okay. The way that I see it is, what is my professor who works as a professor at the University of Tampa, what do they know about business more than, like, okay, I don't want to like, I'm going to let loose and just say exactly.
It's your podcast, man.
Yeah. I don't think college is necessary at all. And like, this is something I go back and forth with my mom about all the time. I called her yesterday. I was like, can I take a gap semester? She's like, yeah, you need to pay your phone bill, pay this, and you'll never see another dollar from me the day you drop out of college. I was like, can't do that right now. So I gotta still be here. But anyways, if you're not a STEM major, I think that nothing teaches you how to start a business better than starting a business.
For sure.
Like even like Kanye, who's a film major, our guy Kanye over here, the creative director, we like to call him. Like nothing teaches you. What is a teacher going to teach you about operating a camera that you can't learn on YouTube now? YouTube University is the future. Like our parents have such a different perspective on the world because they didn't grow up with the internet. Like I talked to my dad the other day. The first time he ever used a computer was his sophomore year of college. So they're at this stage in their lives, college was a necessity if you wanted to like break out.
The American dream. It's that kind of shit. I think it also boils down to the cost of living in America being so incredibly fucking high now. Like when they could go to college, it was like they went to college and in the summer they worked like 40 hours a week as like a waiter or waitress, and that was able to pay off their tuition for the semesters.
Yeah.
Like the next year. Now we have to take out fucking loans. And if you're looking to go like pre-med, pre-law, and then go into graduate school, you are taking out a lot of fucking loans.
Yeah.
And I think
that doesn't make sense though. Why are we setting up institutions that are not affordable for the general populace to the point where they have to take out loans? Like the banks are making so much money off of this shit, bro.
It's business.
It is, but
public schools are like, that's like the bare minimum of like what they provide in terms of like quality of living and like the fuck off fly. But like their state, like, fuck, this fly is distracting me. They're like state funded, whereas like we go to a private school, like University of Tampa. It's nothing cheap, but they're a private school. They make their money off of tuition. If people are going to pay like $50,000 a semester, or no, not a semester, a year to go here, why would they not charge that? Like,
Yeah.
it's like what we're talking about. Like, you learn more of starting a business than not starting a business. People are always like, why the fuck do colleges like charge so much for like housing and all that stuff? It's because they can't. They are a business. They're a business first. Same with hospitals. Why do hospitals in America charge so much? They're a business.
Yeah.
All that shit. It's because they want to make their profits. They want to maximize profits. There are some outliers that will prioritize their actual impact on like the like economy and community the most. But a majority of them don't. A majority of them are just looking to maximize their profits. So they're gonna up their tuition when they can because of fucking inflation and all that kind of stuff. And they're gonna make more money because people are still gonna go there. People are gonna take out the loans like a dumbass to be like an art or an English major. And then they're going to have loans they can't pay off. They're going to be living in their parents' house because they can't afford rent. That's now on average $2,000 a month in the US. They won't be able to afford a home until they're maybe like 40, 50 if they're lucky. And from how the economy's looking, they may not even retire before they're like 70.
Yeah, and they're trying to raise the age like that you get Social Security benefits and stuff too. They're trying to raise it to like 5 years before the average life expectancy, which is like, just picture how miserable life
I
would
don't
be.
even think Social Security is going to be around by the time we actually get benefits with it. I don't think it's going to be around.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like the amount of jobs that are going to be lost, there's going to be like, I don't think a lot of the programs going on to help fund people are going to be around. Like AI is going to boom. Unemployment's going to skyrocket. We're probably going to be looking at like 20 to 30% once AI becomes AGI and artificial general intelligence. That's when it has like a conscious, it can think, it can make human decisions. Once that happens, the demand for human workers is going to be essentially zero if it can be replaced by AGI. At that point, everyone is going to live off whatever the fuck the government gives them.
Yeah.
And then how our business is going to run, I don't fucking know because no one has the money anymore. You know, that shit's wild.
Yeah. It's weird to think about.
Yeah.
You ever listen to Lex Friedman talk about all this shit? He's been talking about this stuff since 2016.
Pretty sure I just listened to a podcast in like macroeconomics about it, about him. I think it was more about the gold standard. I think you watched his podcast in macroeconomics?
We
watched like 10, 15 minutes of it.
That's sick. I need your macro teacher. I've been listening to him for
good.
so long.
John Durrell.
Yeah, well, mine like talked about how he like got pulled over for drunk driving once, and he was like,
"That's sick."
Yeah, it's awesome.
Hell yeah,
hell yeah. Like this is why I think college is a joke. Like, bro, my professor got pulled over for drunk driving. I need like a mentor. I almost think that you'll get greater benefit from like paying for like a really like verified course of somebody who, you know, do your research because you're investing your money. But if you invest in a course of like an entrepreneur, like a life coach, not even a life coach, but like a business coach, I think that can teach you so much more than a college education.
It depends because I've worked with mentors. The most I've paid for a mentor is actually $1,200 a month for a mentor. Like that's fucking costing for a kid in high school. It's kind of hard because with business mentorship, they can charge a lot because they're making the claim that they're going to exponentially grow your business. So it's like, oh, well, you put in $12,000 a month to get out 5 figures a month. Yeah, that's a good investment. But then it's like, well, you show me your winners, you don't show me your losers. How am I supposed to know I'm also going to get those results? Spoiler alert, I didn't get those results. So it's kind of like you take the meat, you leave the bones kind of approach. I learned some good things. I learned some important stuff about how to run like a fitness coaching business, how to automate more of the process, how to do more work up front to make it more efficient, manage more clients. But a majority of the stuff I've learned through that, I actually don't even like apply because even when I look at my mentor now, he's kind of falling behind in the terms of the game. Yeah. Because he's making content like he's a business, and he is a business. He's making a lot of fucking money off it, but his content's lacking, and he kind of lacks a personal brand now.
Yeah.
And one thing I've realized is you need a personal brand. You also need a business brand. If you don't have both of those, you are lacking big time on income.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of like what I've been trying to focus on lately, building those brands up and just like engagement. Because, I mean, you can pay for ads, you can pay for all that stuff, or you can post good content and have a thriving community, and that's infinite organic leads of people who already trust you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're winning a battle that's already in your favor, rather than if you're paying $10,000 to run an Instagram or Facebook ad, you were paying $10,000 to get random people off of Facebook to see a picture of your physique or transformation, or one of your clients' transformations, and you have to somehow convince them to trust you enough to apply for a multi-$100 a month service within like a minute. Like, which one of those sounds like it creates better leads?
Yeah.
The organic content. So that's what I'm mainly been focused on. One of the things he taught me, he was like, oh, you gotta fucking, like, the more messages you send, the more outbound messages you send, like, the more it matters. No. Like, outbound messaging works to an extent if you already have a lot of, like, client testimonials where you could, like, find someone who's, like, for instance, coaching, like, and this only works for, like, a service and shit like that. Let's say I find someone on social media who is interacting with other creators but not myself, and they look like they need some fitness coaching. Like, they're pretty round, they're fat. And I reach out to them, and I, like, start a conversation, and I start personalizing with them, and then I'm like, yo, have you ever considered working with a fitness coach? Like, I'd love to get on a call and discuss it with you, see how we can get you back on track in life. Like, it sounds like a simple process, but no one wants to be approached by a random fitness coach and be like, yo, I think you could use my service. You're not going to trust that shit.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a waste of my time that it cost me $1,200 a month to realize that although no one knows everything. And that's something I've realized. I've like the coach I'm working with now, I take the meat, leave the bones. He charges $450 a month. I can confidently say I offer better diets, better workout routines based on the science and the current literature that we know. And for the same price, I offer so much higher quality of service. He checks in with me once a week for my weekly check-in. That is the standard coaching protocol. Most people will charge $400 to $500 for that shit. If I'm charging that much for the same service, I am sending them teaching points and checking questions every single day, and I'm making sure they get that knowledge in their head every single day. And if that client who is in that same program is with me for a year, I am one-on-one sitting down with them, teaching them how to make their own workout routine, their own nutrition. That's what I put into my routine, because I was like, that's bullshit that you can charge $400, $500 a month based off your name and based off your previous results, when in reality, working with a client is not a super high intensive job unless you make it. The part that takes a lot of time, it's not managing their health. You have to have a lot of knowledge. You have to research a lot. You have to do a lot to, like, get the knowledge. That's where a lot of that time comes in. But once you have that knowledge, managing that, like, your client's health is not time consuming at all, unless you are looking to actually teach them. If you are looking to coach them for them to get results, and then just once they're done with you, just being like, all right, good luck, figure it out for yourself. Yeah, that's fucking the easiest job in the world once you have the knowledge. Like, I could do that shit for anyone.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, my client right now is Xander. Do you know Xander?
Does he live in Morsani?
No. Right now, I don't know if he did. He came here first semester. He's taking a gap right now.
No, I don't think I've met him before, but.
Okay, well, I'm coaching him right now for free because he's my boy. So I was just like, all right, I'll coach you. He's down 10 pounds in 2 weeks.
Really?
10 pounds in 2 weeks. I mean, like, that's, like, for my fat loss transformations, that's, like, pretty average. Like, the most I've lost in a single month, gotten for myself, 27 pounds in 1 month.
That's insane.
The most I've done.
How did you do that?
So it's a lot of stuff. I mean, when you boil it down, it's the same thing. It's like, obviously you have to create a calorie deficit. A lot of people that aren't very familiar with that will chalk it all up to fat loss. That's not the case. Like, when I was 230, I went down to 203 in 1 month. And it's not all fat. It was maybe maybe 15, 16 pounds of fat. A lot of that comes from water weight because when you cut, the first thing you cut out is carbs because carbohydrates are a non-essential macronutrient, whereas fats and proteins, you need that to survive. Fats like keep proper hormonal production and balance. Like if a lot of natural lifters don't understand this, and this is what actually causes them to get into a lot of like health issues when they're cutting, you need fats to like maintain your testosterone production, your growth hormone production, all that kind of shit. So they cut out fats because fats are the most calorically dense macronutrient.
Yep.
Because do you know the like calories per macronutrient?
No.
So it's like a protein. 1 gram of protein is 4 calories. 1 gram of carbs is 4 calories. 1 gram of fat is 9 calories. So they're like, okay, if 1 gram of carbs or protein is less than half of the calories as 1 gram of fat, why not just cut out the fats? Well, it's because if you do that, you're going to feel like shit all the fucking time.
Yeah.
So what you do first, if you're doing it properly, you bump your protein up, you cut your calories down first, and then you adjust your fats to be around like moderately high, depending on like the person's body after you've been working them for a while. But a part of the carbohydrates is that they're stored as glycogen if they're in excess, which is an energy source that can be quickly used inside the muscles. So that's why when you have like a lot of carbs, you feel more full, you feel fucking massive. And that's why they'll like carb up before bodybuilding shows. They'll get really lean and they'll eat a specific amount of carbs at a certain timing. So their muscles are filled with glycogen. But another aspect of carbohydrates is carbohydrates cause you to store more water weight.
Okay.
So generally when you're bulking, you'll be eating a lot of carbohydrates. You're going to be storing a lot more water weight. As soon as you go on a cut, especially if you do like a aggressive switch, which is what I always do for my cuts, because if you are completely filled to the brim with glycogen, all this carb storage, all those excess micronutrients, stuff like that, there's no need to slow it down and get like, you shouldn't be dropping all of your calories to a really low aggressive deficit. That's how you quickly lose shit. But gradually switching into a deficit makes zero sense when you really think about it, when you apply the scientific like process, and not a process, but those like methods and like the literature we know. But when you do that, you're going to be cutting out mainly carbs. That's what I'm getting to. When you cut out all those carbs, you're going to have a lot less carbs in your system that are going to hold on to that water weight on your body. So that's why your first week when you lose fat, you're always going to lose it or your like body weight, you're going to lose it like that. And then you're going to hit a plateau because your body weight has regulated its water like retention for your new diet. And then after that, you were losing fat at the rate your diet is. And for most people, they just go with the general 500 calories deficit, which is 1 pound of fat a week. They're like, first week, they lose 2 to 3 pounds. They're like, oh shit, I'm doing great. I just lost that much fat. Second week, they maybe lose 0.5 pounds, or they maybe even gained weight because water weight fluctuates all the time. And they're like, fuck, what do I do? Like, do I up my cardio? Do I cut my food down more? You just got to like be patient. So a lot of people don't realize that it'll always be really quick off the bat. Like right now I'm down 26 pounds. It's been 8 weeks, but over the last week I've been stagnant, and there's a lot of factors that goes into that. Water weight's not really it. It's more of an issue with my current coach's diet. Is he has me on a really shit diet for macronutrition, or not macro, micronutrition, and overall gut health and like well-being. Because he's one of like the old school kind of coaches that are just like, oh, like getting your chicken, your rice, your carbs, your fats, whatever, hit your macros, and then any problems you have will supplement it. And like, it took me long enough. I texted him today. I was like, yo, like, this is not what we're going to fucking do. I'm paying you to help me get ready for my first bodybuilding show. Like, if you're not going to actually put in the effort to make supplements are supplements. Like, they're not supposed to be necessities for a diet. If you're looking for a fitness coach, or you have one and you notice this is a huge red flag. If they tell you like you need to be on these supplements to maintain your proper health, fucking get out of there. Unless you are like peak week or like 4 weeks out from a bodybuilding show, maintaining proper health and in a diet and micronutrients is essential and is always doable. Like, unless you are cutting for like, let's say like wrestling or some, like, there's no reason you should be loading up on as many supplements as you can to make up for a shit diet.
Yeah.
And that's what my coach kind of just takes the method for. So I texted him. I was like, yeah, like this is not a good fucking diet. Like we have to change this guideline because although I am hiring to coach me through my first like bodybuilding prep, I know what the fuck I'm talking about. I know the science behind micronutrition, macronutrition. I know what my body needs. And I know that you are telling me to work on a diet that my body is not going to be fulfilled with when it comes to what I need. And the hard part about a coach is when you have a coach, you have to do what the fuck they say, even if you disagree with it initially. Because what a lot of people don't realize is if you don't do what your coach tells you to, they're going to assume you're doing what you do. And your results based off what they think you're doing is how they're going to adjust it. So if you are eating a shit diet, but you switch off it and you're on your own diet and you're getting results, they're just going to be like, whatever. And again, if you don't do what your coach is telling you to, why are you paying for them?
Yeah.
You're paying for a service you're not using. Stupid.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a Netflix subscription, if you're not watching Netflix, you're not going to pay for it. Same thing. If you have a coaching subscription and they tell you to do something and you don't do it, why are you paying $400 a month for that?
Yeah.
Like,
think you could coach yourself, or is that more difficult because you don't really have somebody like hold you like soup? It's I don't know what's that dynamic like.
It's not about accountability. So right now I'm considering coaching myself. So I haven't done a lot of research about like actual peak week science yet. I plan on getting into that. I know the general basics of it, which is like cutting water weight manipulation, carving up, all that kind of stuff, like how lean you have to get yourself. But the reason a coach for bodybuilding, like every single professional bodybuilder will have a coach.
Yeah.
Like C-Bum, he has a coach. Fucking Ronnie Coleman has a coach. Like all of them do. Every single Mr. Olympia does. Every single IFBB Pro does. And that's because when you get deeper into a cut, your own perception of your body really fucks with shit. Like emotions will completely... And this happens to everybody. It's not just bodybuilders. It's body dysmorphia. They'll think like, oh, I ate like shit this one weekend. I feel watery, when they don't know it's just water weight. And they're like, oh, I gained 10 pounds of fat. I got a cut now. Like it happens all the time. And that's the kind of shit you want to avoid. Because when you take emotion out of it and you make like objective decisions based off like where an athlete is, how they look like making the good decisions for them to reach their goals becomes much easier.
And especially with like a lot of almost every pro, like taking like, supplement or like taking steroids and stuff like that shit fucks with your hormones. Like
that's
like
a lot
that.
more complicated. I'm not a pro when it comes to that. I don't work with people who are on that kind of shit. Like I tell them if they want to.
Like if you're really going to chase bodybuilding, do you see yourself like having to take that step or no?
I don't see myself. I don't really care to become an IFBB pro or anything like that. However, I have not talked about this anywhere yet. I do plan on getting on something relatively soon. And it's not to compete. It's not to compete better. It's purely for the looks. But it's because you have to look the part to be a fitness coach.
Yeah.
And I want to take this, I want to scale this. I want to take this long term. I want to make this my career. I want to help as many people as possible. And sadly, I know I have the knowledge. But people see my physique and they're like, oh, he's an 18-year-old kid who can't grow a mustache. He doesn't look fucking wise. He's not he doesn't look like a Mr. Olympia. Why would I take his advice when this guy has 30 more pounds of muscle? Well, it's like that guy has 30 more pounds of muscle, not because of what he does. It's in spite of what he does. And a lot of people don't realize that. They'll see stuff on like workouts on social media and they're like, this guy's doing sevens where he does 7 half reps, and then 7 full reps. And I'm like, yeah, that's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
If you knew a single thing about the way mechanisms work with muscle growth in your body and mechanical tension and all that kind of shit, you know that is wasting your time and your energy. And there's like, but this guy's bigger than you. And I'm like, yeah, he could be bigger. He could be way bigger if he actually knew what the fuck he was doing. So that's the reason why I will probably be hopping on something soon. I would never disclose what I hop on because if other people started looking up to me for my physique more than they already do, if I told them exactly what I hop on, there would be impressionable kids that would hop on that shit too. Yeah. And a lot of people don't realize that in the fitness industry.
Dude, this fucking fly. Like
this fly is just fucking this all up. A lot of people who are like talk about their cycles openly in the industry, I hate that shit. Because they're like, oh, it's not my fault if people hop on. Like, it's all their own decision. I'm like,
You're an influencer.
you are an influencer. You are to influence people. You have your codes to influence people to buy shit.
Yeah.
And like they're like, oh yeah, like if a stupid 15-year-old buys because I tell them I'm on something. Well, when you think about it from a rational point of view, you say you are on stuff. You have a great physique. A 15-year-old kid who is not knowledgeable is going to assume if I get on that stuff, I could have a physique like him. And then they're on shit and they fuck up their test for the rest of their lives and now they got to live on TRT.
Yeah.
Like people don't, I don't know how somehow it doesn't connect in their brains. It's ridiculous. I call this shit out all the time because that's like, dude, come on. Fucking be like, if you're going to be an influencer, be like a good influence. Like actually consider what your words can do to your followers and stuff like that. All that kind of shit. So if I did hop on shit, and this is also a very controversial take I have, unless my progress was booming, I'm a hyper responder. If I have progress on a cycle of whatever it is, peptides, steroids, whatever, I would never disclose that I am actually on shit unless my progress becomes so naturally unattainable that it would be false marketing.
Yeah.
Because it also comes to promoting steroids, like, and all that stuff. Like, even if I just say it, people are going to look for a way to get on it and find a way to get on it. Like, if I developed a physique that is clearly not naturally attainable, if I developed a certain amount of muscle mass that is clearly not naturally attainable in that amount of time, I would say, yeah, I'm on something. I'm not going to say what it is, but I'm on something. But if I get a physique similar to like Alex Eubank or like one of those other like aesthetic, like David Lade influencers that you could get naturally, I would not come out and say I'm on anything because kids will still look up to my physique and want to be like like they would want to have my physique.
Yeah.
And me even saying I'm on something would make them want to get on it. They wouldn't want to take the years to get on it. And even though I didn't do that because I'm impatient and I want to get a head start on my career, that doesn't mean they should do that.
Yeah.
Like if they don't want to take a long term, you shouldn't even debate it because there's no reason to. It's like you're fucking up your health, and I've done the research, not all of it. I need to do more before I get on. I wouldn't get on anything anytime soon. But I am okay with that sacrifice to take my career further in fitness and coaching and all that kind of stuff. Oh, fuck.
Now you're good.
My foot slipped. Fitness and coaching and all that kind of stuff. And I'm okay with the side effects that come with it. I am accepting the risks that it may come with gyno. It may come with acne. It may come with my test being crashed, even though my first cycle would definitely not be AAS.
Yeah.
It would not be anything like that where it would crash my test because that is stupid to start off on that and have your test completely fucked. But it's like that kind of stuff. Like I would not come out and say it unless it was so obvious that it's naturally not achievable that me saying it's naturally achievable would be false marketing. Because if I'm going to say you can achieve my physique naturally, and my physique is achievable naturally, there's no reason for me to say that like I am on shit unless I'm posting transformations and saying like, oh, you can get this transformation. I would not say I'm natural. Don't quote me on that saying I would say I'm natural. I would never claim to be naturally when I'm fake. I would just avoid it.
Yeah,
I would not say I'm.
It's just you don't have to talk about it.
I wouldn't
There's
say
no
I'm.
reason to.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm on it. I just wouldn't say I'm natural. I wouldn't say either. I wouldn't take a side. I would just post my physique. And then if people ask me if it's naturally attainable, I would say, yeah, it's naturally attainable. Like I wouldn't say, or I wouldn't even answer that. I would just not acknowledge anything.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to promote it. And I don't think a lot of people will agree with that stance. Also, they'll think I'm like, oh, I'm trying to fucking sell shit. Like I wouldn't sell supplements being like, oh, this is my natural progression. Like, no, I'd say like, this is my progression. And these are supplements I like. And I will tell you why I like them. If I don't use them, I will tell you that. Like, I don't use creatine because my body cannot tolerate it. So if people ask me, like, is creatine worth taking? I'm like, yes, but I don't personally take it because my body can't tolerate it. You might not see any results from it because, like, it's like 1/3 of people don't actually respond to creatine. You might have someone like me where I can't tolerate it and it makes me shit like crazy. Fun fact. I don't know if you didn't need to know that, but
but I know it now.
But I make sure people know, like, I don't take it. If they're asking me if I do, like, take it or, like, everything. I take it objective with my stuff. Like, you asked me about that new sponsor I have, Fit Butters. I eat that shit every single day because it tastes good. and it's basically just a nut butter. It's a healthy it's a healthy fat source with extra amino acids added into it. That's all I say. I take it because I really like the taste of it. Like protein powder, I take it because I get protein powder for free, and it makes my budget a lot more affordable for how much protein I need to eat per day. And I also like taking it because I like eating protein oats and protein shakes. People call me weird, but I like protein with water. It tastes good.
Does it actually? It seems too thin though.
People, no one else agrees with me. Like it's not a.
I've done it before. It's like too thin. It tastes.
Any normal person will say it tastes like shit, and I don't blame them. Like before I got into like fucking heavy hardcore dieting, so much shit did not taste good to me that now does. Like on a good meal for me is like, oh, give me some of that white rice, some unseasoned chicken, and just fucking hot sauce.
Yeah. I like that. I like that type. I feel like my metabolism is actually so fucked because, like, I'll eat like 2 meals a day maximum, like, or sometimes I'll have a third meal, and my like physique is like, I don't know, it's just like it's pretty dad bod, but I don't know.
So that's actually a hot topic that a lot of people ask me about. Metabolisms. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. Break this down because I could just be making like stupid. Like I don't go to the gym as much as I should be going to the gym.
I mean, I'll just say it straight up. Like fucking slow and fast metabolisms is bullshit. It's coping to the highest degree. Like, not saying this like to
no, bro, but like I'm telling you, like my friend Ryan, like he goes to the gym like 45 minutes.
There are certain outliers that will like tend to, but what it really boils down to is it's like, what are you eating consistently over a long period of time? And a lot of people that will say they have like a fast metabolism, well, it's actually that they're ghrelin, which is the hormone that promotes your actual your appetite. Their ghrelin signaling is a lot tighter. So as soon as their body feels like, okay, we're pushing our like TDEE, your total daily energy expenditure of intake, like you don't need any more food. Your body's sustained, like stop eating. And they're going to listen to that and they're going to stop eating. Or they'll eat a lot in like one specific meal and they don't eat the rest of the day. And like their friends will see that. They're like, how do you eat so much and you stay skinny? And you're like, I guess I just have a fast metabolism. No, you don't eat a lot throughout a long period of time. Yeah. There's people who have a slow metabolism and they're like always like, oh, like I'm always hungry. Well, maybe your ghrelin signaling is not as tight. It's a very loose signaling, which sucks for you because you might always feel hungry. Like for me, I rarely ever get full. I can eat a lot.
Yeah.
But another thing that also makes them think that is it's like, oh, like I don't eat a lot, but you know what? You don't eat a lot of volume, but you eat a lot of calories. Like people they'll wake up, they'll have like a Starbucks like Frappuccino and a Starbucks muffin. I made a video on this like the other week. That meal right there is like 800 calories. Like how much calories do you think is in that sandwich?
Like
give me your best guess.
1,200.
Not that much. That was
I have no.
No, that sandwich was probably like 800 calories, especially if there was no sauce on it, like you said. Like,
bro, I swear I eat like 1,700 calories a day. Like I'm like I rarely eat more than that. Sometimes I'll have a day where I'll eat like 4,500 though. Like
okay, so if you're consistently, so let's say 3 days out of the week you eat 4,500. 4 days out of the week you eat like 2,000.
No. I'd say 2 days a week I have 4,500 calories, and then I bet I have under 2,000 the rest of the days. I don't snack at all, so I get. And I have 15 meal swipes a week, so I've never ran out of meal swipes. But I just don't do any cardio or anything like that.
Well, that's another thing. So there's a few things that go into like your TDE. So the biggest portion is actually just like what you need to sustain yourself and live. And that's like what you need to increase that is simply have more muscle mass or have like a higher muscle protein synthesis ratio. The second biggest portion is not exercise, it's NEAT. And that's just how much exercise or how much activity you do without even thinking about it. Like walking to class every single day. That's NEAT. Like when you pick up random shit. A lot of people that also claim they have a fast metabolism, they are actually the kind of people who instinctively, when they overeat, they get very fidgety. So they start tapping their foot, they start tapping their fingers. And that's a way their body like instinctually burns off those extra calories. Whereas people who don't have a naturally fast metabolism, like when they overeat, they're the kind of person that gets like sluggish when they fucking take a nap. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just how your body works. But that's another thing that goes into it.
Because I really just sit at my computer all day.
Yeah, exactly. And that's going to really take down like your overall energy expenditure.
Like how many steps do you do a day?
I average about 15,000.
15,000 a day. I get like probably 8,000.
I woke up this morning. First thing, like I had a protein shake. I walked on an incline treadmill for an hour straight.
Yeah.
So that's what I do to start my day. And then I also work out. I lift 5 days a week. And all that kind of stuff, walking in between classes, all that stuff. I burn about, at my current body weight, like 185. I burn about 3,000, like low 3,000, maybe mid 3,000 with cardio. About that, but it's probably closer to the low end now because I've gotten so lean and my body is like adjusting to the low amount of calories. So my NEAT is down regulating to like, what's it called? Adjust to my caloric deficit. Because a lot of people don't realize is when you stop intaking so many calories, your body is going to down regulate. It's going to be like, oh shit, I don't have that much fuel. I guess we're just going to stop doing as much activity. And that's why you feel like your brain getting slower. Like certain functions of your body and like your energy will just plummet. So your body needs less energy and your basal metabolic rate and your NEAT will just drop significantly. And then just simply by getting into a calorie deficit, your total daily energy expenditure could drop like 400, 500 calories. A lot of people don't realize that. So they start on a diet when their total daily expenditure is like maximized. They get on a diet and they get sluggish. And now they're no longer in a calorie deficit because they just do way less activity and stuff like that. And then the other portions of your total daily expenditure will be like the thermic effect of food. It's like how much your body actually like needs to work to digest stuff. If you want to increase that, just eat more protein. And then the last part, then the smallest portion actually comes from intended exercise. So that's like lifting. That's like cardio. That's only about like, pretty sure it's 10% of your daily calories comes from that shit for the average person. Yeah.
So how many calories do you think I burn a day if I'm taking like 8,000, 9,000 steps? And Griffin, how often am I at my desk on a daily basis, you think? Yeah. How many hours? Yeah. No, like, bro, like, I'm not even kidding. Like, I will literally, like...
Yeah, if you live a sedentary lifestyle, your TDE is going to be very low. Like, how often do you lift?
Say, like, 3 times a week.
3 times a week? So... on days you lift,
like sometimes I'll go a week like where I just don't, and then sometimes I'll go like 7 days straight. Like it's so spotty and consistent.
I guess like your TDEE from just like look, I don't know your body weight and all that kind of stuff.
Probably like 217 right now.
217. What are you, 6 feet?
Yeah, 5'11" and a half.
Okay,
oh, we round up.
We'll round up. So like 217, 5'11" and a half. Mostly sedentary. Like your TDE on those days you don't lift is probably around like mid-low 2000s. Like you're probably looking at a maintenance calorie range of like 2,400, 2,500. Yeah. So like I'm eating on average like 1,900 calories a day. I cycle through, but my diet right now is super aggressive for me because I have a super active lifestyle. Whereas that same diet for you would just be like baseline for like fat loss because you simply don't move that much. And that's moving more is the easiest way to lose weight.
Yeah.
Like people are like, oh, you got to cut out so much shit. No, you don't. You simply just have to get off your like ass. And I'm not trying to sound rude, but you just walk more. You get in more steps, you're going to be burning significantly more calories. Like you park furthest away in the parking lot to make your walk to the store or the gym or whatever, walk laps around the gym between, do all that shit, you're going to be burning an extra few hundred, maybe 500 calories a day.
Yeah.
It's that much easier to get yourself into a deficit rather than cutting your calories super low. So that's probably what you'd probably have to be eating like 2,000 calories.
Because I have lost weight since I've been here. Like I'll show you pictures. Maybe we'll put them up on the screen if I'm feeling really ambitious when I'm editing this. Here, but like I'll show you like what my progress has looked like. Hold on 1 second. Let's find this shit. Oh, this is what I looked like when I was younger. Yeah, I was fat.
Yeah, let me show you what I looked like at 2:30 if my phone isn't dead.
I was like 235 when I first got here, though. Oh yeah, I was fuck.
Dude, I had the mullet for like a month and a half, 2 months. I
Where is
got
this
tired
shit?
of that shit so fast.
Yeah, this is me when I first got here.
Okay.
And then that's a pretty significant. Just like the belly's gone,
Yeah.
and my shoulders got bigger too. Like that's
Your,
like fucking nothing. Like
your shoulders definitely got bigger, but that could also just be simply because your reduced body fat percentage. Because shoulders tend to show a lot more than other muscle groups the leaner you get.
yeah,
Like my shoulders look like shit until I actually cut down, and then my shoulders don't look like shit. This is what I. That was me at 230.
but you don't look like a fat 230. Like
I look very fluffy.
yeah,
Like I look like I have very lucky fat distribution genetics. I do not store fat in like one place. Like I don't store it in like my lower back or my stomach. I store it all throughout like my upper body, my ass. I store a lot of it. I get a fat ass when I get fat.
yeah,
In my arms and stuff like that. So I never look super fat unless I am super fat,
yeah.
which is nice. But some other people like with their like love handles or their like lower stomach fat.
Yeah, I
Didn't
get
get
a
as-
belly, bro. I get a belly. I'll show the people maybe like sometime.
Yeah,
you know.
some people just have it unfortunate like that.
Should I rip out the belly right now?
Rip it out.
Yeah, should I? No, I can't rip out the belly right now. What am I, fucking Gibby? Yeah. Should I show the city the belly?
Maybe might have to.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
where were
no.
we? What was the conversation?
Oh, we're just flowing. But yeah, I need it. I have been cutting, but like I've never had abs or anything like that before. Because my freshman year, I was 180. This was all for football because I wanted to go D1 and like play big time. So freshman year, I went in at 180. Then I got to 200 for my sophomore football season. Then I got to 220 for my junior football
What
season.
did you play?
I played
D-line?
line, yeah,
D-line?
line, yeah, and center. And then I got to 245 for my senior year, which was like
Big boy.
yeah,
Big boy.
But I was benching like 315 and stuff, or 305. I like to round up there because I never hit 315. I still haven't hit 315, but yeah. But no, I was pretty big. But then I don't know. I just felt like shit. Like especially after the football season ended, I was like, bro, I'm not playing football anymore. Like I got to get rid of this weight.
I feel like a lot of high schoolers like who play football like specifically get into that shit where they're like, oh, I have to perform well, especially when they're online. Like I have to maximize my high school career and like I get fucking really big. Like a lot of high schoolers, like if there's any high schoolers listening who doing that, don't do that shit.
Yeah.
That-
Unless you're like really trying to go D1 and like get
If you were
good and you're
going,
on a
if you were
program.
going D1 and you're taking that somewhere, yeah, put in that fucking work, get big to do that.
Yeah.
But if you are not planning or do not have the opportunity to take that anywhere after college, there's
You're just
no
getting
reason.
fat.
There's no reason you should get fat, and develop really bad habits just to peak your high school performance.
Yeah.
Because like, it won't matter
Yeah.
even a year after. Like,
Yeah.
I know people who are like, oh, like the fucking shits on the team, and I can assure you, no one gives a shit what you're doing when you're in college.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, even knowing athletes here, like, no one even like. I mean, we do go to UTAMP, but maybe if you went to like Alabama, it would be different. Like if you're on the football team,
Yeah.
but like here, it's like, oh, you're an athlete, that's cool. Like,
Yeah, it's
what
something-
else do
it's
you do?
something-
It's like no one really cares.
Mhm.
So there's no reason to ruin your fucking health and your habits with the food and get fat over it. That's my opinion, though. Could be different for everyone.
Yeah, no, I think it's you don't want to sacrifice like your health and you don't want to develop long-term habits because like
Yeah.
some people like you can't shed that weight like some people just like don't like they'll carry that weight for the rest of their lives
Yeah, because they never learn about food. They never learn how to diet or like.
and they never
restrict their
really
shit.
care to like just cut or like I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, definitely. It's a fucking big flaw that a lot of people get into. I know a kid, because I used to play football before I got into basketball. I know a kid, it was like elementary school. Like this was like 4th through 8th grade. His parents would take him out to ice cream after every football practice to fucking get him big for the line.
Really?
Yeah, and I was like looking back at it, that is so bad. That is
Yeah, that's
fucking
just
awful
gross.
parenting.
Yeah.
Why would you encourage your kid to put on weight at such a young age?
Like he hasn't
eat
even
like
developed
shit.
like physically yet.
You're simply putting like at least
This is
encourage.
before puberty too.
Yeah, it is before puberty. At least encourage him to put on weight through a healthy process, not through fucking milkshakes.
Yeah.
Like that is a disgusting parenting habit. That
Yeah.
that shit's just wild to me.
Yeah. I know kids whose dads have had them on steroids from like as soon as they hit puberty and shit like that too.
And so many people who don't know anything about the gym know that steroids are an enhancer. They are not a cause.
Mhm.
Like there's a study that has gone around. It's blowing up over social media. It's like if so there's like 4 groups of a relatively small study. Individuals that didn't train and on no testosterone, individuals who didn't train and were on testosterone, individuals who trained naturally, and individuals who trained and were on testosterone. And the amount of non-fat weight they put on, it was like the people who didn't train, they didn't put on any weight unless it was like they got fatter. People who were on testosterone over the time span but didn't train put on 4 pounds of non-fat tissue. The people who trained naturally put on 7 pounds. Wait, am I getting that wrong? Might not be 7. No, it is 7. 7 pounds of non-fat tissue.
And what's this time period?
Pretty sure it's like 12 weeks. So
Okay.
it's a longer time period. And this can include like water weight, like shit like that, which also contributes to weight because certain PEDs like testosterone and stuff will have you retain more water. But the people who trained and were on testosterone put on 12 pounds of non-fat tissue. So like that's just how significant it does. But even when you were on test and you don't train, you only put on 4 pounds of non-fat tissue, and I can assure you most of that came from retaining water weight and stuff like that. But if you trained with it, you put on 12 pounds of lean, like non-fat tissue, which most likely is less of water weight because you were actually actively like sweating and shit like that. So you're going to be retaining less water, and you're going to be building muscles. They probably put on like 8 pounds of lean tissue, 8 to 9 pounds in that time span, whereas the natural lifters maybe put on like not even like 4 or 5. They probably put on like 2 or 3. But you can also get great results naturally if you know what you're doing. I know people here who have gotten on cycles and put on pretty much 0 mass. And they have like told me what they're running. I'm like, okay, like I don't know a crazy amount about steroids, but I was like, I know that's optimal. But it's not even about that. Like if you're on any kind of stuff, you're going to get benefits if you know what the fuck you're doing. If your diet is shit, if your training is shit, your results are still going to be shit, whether you're on steroids or not. I bulked for 3 months, and I came in to school at 180. I am now leaner than I was then, and I'm now 185, 186, that area. So since coming to school, I put on 6 pounds of lean muscle mass. That's a very short amount of time for that amount of growth. And that's because first off, I had an eating disorder the first semester because I got like 180 was the leanest I've been in a minute. I was like, oh, I really want to keep this like leanness. I did not eat enough to sustain my body and performance. I like lost muscle. It was bad. But I have fixed that shit. But now that when I finally committed to like a 3-month bulk and I put on all that muscle mass and all that size like very quickly, it was because I completely optimized my training to the best it could be. I optimized my diet. I was eating I didn't really track as much as I needed to because I've been tracking for so long. A lot of it I can do in my head and based off my body's reaction to the amount of food I'm eating. But what I did do was I made sure everything was a clean source. It was only chicken, rice. I was not eating any extra saturated fats, any sugars, any of that shit that's often in like a bulking diet of the average person. All my exercises, all sets to failure, all most stable, like best range of motion, all that kind of shit, the basic stuff. We don't have to get super deep into that. But when all that stuff is maximized and you actually set up a proper routine, you can blow lifters who are unnatural out of the water just by doing everything else right. And a lot of people don't realize when you get on shit, you do not have an infinite amount of cycles. There is a point, especially when you get on AAS, which is androgenic anabolic steroids, there is a point to when your body will not recover from that. And you cannot do any more cycles, and you have to be on TRT the rest of your life to maintain proper health. And you, depending on your genetics, only have a certain amount of cycles you can take. Like Mr. Olympia competitors, they have very good responding genetics. Their body can tolerate that very well. They can bounce back relatively well. They're all fucked long term when it comes to their hormones. They're all gonna have to be on TRT and other shit. But
so what happens if they weren't on TRT? Like, let's say Arnold just decided to hop off whatever he's taking now. Like
their testosterone, their natural testosterone is pretty much like non-existent. They probably have maybe the range, if they're lucky, are producing like 100 is like nanograms to deciliter.
Then what's that like the
Testosterone.
equivalent to, like a 14-year-old boy or like?
Not even.
Really?
Not even. Maybe like the equivalent of like an 80-year-old man.
Yeah.
Something like that. They would have extremely low testosterone. For those guys who really got on shit will have extremely low natural growth hormone production as well. But the testosterone will lead you to, you're going to lose all your muscle mass. That's why a lot of competitors lose their muscle mass afterwards, because they just don't want to blast anymore to maintain it. You're going to be extremely fatigued all the fucking time. Your dick's not going to work. You're not going to be fertile. There's like all that shit that people don't consider when you like are actually getting on stuff. And
how does that impact you mentally too, though? Like, you have no like, does it affect like your motivation and your brain and like your mental clarity and stuff like that too?
I don't know. Mental clarity, no. Actually, it's kind of funny. A lot of studies, well, not a lot, but there's been a couple that I've read and I've researched about from like Dr. Mike and people like that in the industry. The more stuff you actually get on, the actually like dumber you get, which is kind of funny. Yeah. Like you just like brain doesn't work as well. It's like you get more brain fog actually the more shit you're on. But when your testosterone is really low and you just have a super high amount of fatigue, you'll just always feel like your cognitive ability is never going to be where it should be. Mm-hmm. And you're never going to feel motivated. You're never going to feel all that shit. You're going to feel really chill. Mm-hmm. People on testosterone, they feel like very chill all the time and like they can just like relax.
There's no sense of urgency. Like
no sense of urgency. There's no like stress or anything, but they just have no motivation. They're just always tired. Like they're never going to perform well again. And a lot of people like who are on shit and then when they cycle off shit, I know there's a lot of like issue with that is once you get off shit, exercising is never going to be as fun as it is again. Yeah. Like you're going to go from feeling like a Greek god to just being the average person again. You're going to be like, damn, this sucks. I'm getting mediocre pumps, especially if you don't know what you're doing, because your whole progress in your ability to improve was based off the steroids. And if you no longer are able to do that, you're going to be stuck until you figure out what you're doing and you can sort that shit out. You can make a good lifestyle, a good diet, a good routine. That's another thing. A lot of people don't consider how much your lifestyle actually goes into your progress. Another big aspect of that I teach.
Even sleep too, right? Like sleep is huge.
Sleep is like 30% of your progress.
Yeah.
People don't realize that. Sleep is so fucking important. That's why I never get less than 8 hours of sleep at night. I always aim for 8.5 and 9 hours of sleep at night. Like I'm going to bed, especially when you get into like cuts and weight loss, like sleep is essential. And that's why a lot of college students get fat. They stop sleeping, they start eating more, they start drinking more, they get fat as shit, they lose muscle mass, they get skinny fat. They build that dad physique. And I'm talking like an actual dad physique, like the kind of dad physique that would sit on the couch, watch a football game with the fam, eat a whole tray of nachos.
Balance a fucking plate on his stomach.
Oh, yeah, just like that kind of shit. Fuck, I kind of sidetracked again. Where was I?
Talk about sleep.
Talking about it was like before I got into the lifestyle portion.
I don't know. We're just rolling.
I'm right kind of just I like everything that pops into my head. I'm fucking leading into.
That's good though.
Yeah.
We're ripping it.
So people think you grow in the gym. We'll continue with sleep. People think you grow in the gym. You don't grow in the gym at all. Like the growth does not occur in the gym. The growth happens after the gym. And a majority of habit when you're sleeping, because that is when your muscles recover and your body is able to rest and recover and actually send the nutrients it needs to the muscles to recover. Muscle stimulus occurs in the gym.
Is that when proteins, like all the proteins enter your, like, I don't, how's that work? Proteins enter the bloodstream or?
No. So, what muscles or what proteins do is taking your protein rate, increasing your protein increases your muscle protein synthesis rate. And your muscle protein synthesis rate needs to be greater than your muscle protein breakdown rate to maximize, or not even maximize, but just to have any sort of muscle gain. Because your muscles are made up of proteins and water. And your proteins are always breaking down just by living. And if you are not significantly like stimulating them over a period of time, your breakdown is going to be greater. So your muscles are actually going to deteriorate, and that's what happens with like astronauts and shit like that. They do not have to use their muscles at all because there's no gravity. So their muscles are deteriorating because there's nothing to stimulate them. That's why you have to like maximizing your stimulus is one aspect, but you also have to maximize your ability to recover from that stimulus. Whereas that's where the muscle, like the stimulus to fatigue ratio comes in, because you want to be maximizing your stimulus while staying underneath your threshold for recoverable fatigue. Because if you go over that point, that stimulus doesn't fucking matter anymore, because you can't recover before your next workout, and you're not able to actually grow that muscle and like properly load your muscles in the next workout. A lot of people don't realize that. But protein, just to like keep it simple, that's the building block of the muscles. All the like tissue in your body is like made up of proteins. And then there's like certain linings that are made up of fats and stuff like that. But that is what protein is used for mainly. Also, protein is like the protein is a macronutrient that is the hardest for your body. Not the hardest, but it's the most demanding for your body to break down. So your body will actually like, what's it called? Burn more calories through the thermogenic effect of food, through eating more protein. So if you're looking to like eat like more volume but stay leaner, like protein is just your like go-to for all that shit.
And then how does maybe this is like, how does drinking affect muscle protein synthesis? Because
So,
I know it's like 20-something%, like it decreases by.
I don't know the exact numbers on that, but
initially we made a
drinking
post.
alcohol.
We made a post, like one of our first posts we made on the account was boozing equals losing, and then we like broke down like the whole like process, and then less than a year later we made a beers, babes, and barbells flag. So
yeah,
we pivot sometimes.
pivot off that for the business. So yes, alcohol does directly contribute to your muscle protein like breakdown and stimulus rate. A lot of it is secondary due to your inability to recover and properly like fuel your body with like proper food, because you're getting in so many calories from the alcohol itself. Alcohol does contain calories. Like a lot of people, if you take a shot of hard liquor, it still has calories in it, even though it has 0 grams of protein, fat, and carbs, because each gram of alcohol has 7 calories in it. What alcohol does is, I don't really know the most amount of this, like of the science, because I don't drink. I've never drunk even a sip of alcohol, so it never really concerned me to figure out. But it does increase your muscle protein breakdown rate. It's not like that, right? And like inhibits the stimulus rate. I forget. I'm pretty sure I'm almost positive it produces more muscle protein breakdown through like cortisol increases, and like the alcohol like stops like functions in your body and stuff like that. Like it like limits the signaling of certain like things. But that directly correlates to your ability to grow and recover. And I think what really gets in the way of it is like when you have alcohol, you're either going to a crazy surplus in order to still get your same like nutrients in, or you're cutting out like necessary nutrients for your like performance and like function to fit in the alcohol into your diet. And then you're going out on a crazy night, you're fucking staying up, you're maybe sleeping like 4 hours of like
you're ordering DoorDash at like 3 a.m.
Yeah, like it's I think
it's a lifestyle thing, you think?
I think the effects of alcohol, yes, there are biological like effects and like with your like anatomy and stuff like that, where it does inhibit your muscle growth through like increased muscle protein breakdown rates. However, I think the lifestyle effects of it and like drinking consistently is far more significant. Also, if you drink, and I make this apparent in all of my like coaching and stuff like that, drinking, if you drink, like I never would allow any of my clients to drink the day before they have to work out. If you're drinking, you're resting the day after, because working out while you're hungover, like that's the most, I've never done this personally, but from everyone I've talked to, and everybody fucking knows this off common sense, that's a mess. Like you do not feel good, you do not perform good, you do not do anything good after that.
Thank you for watching this phenomenal episode of the Diesel University podcast. Frankly, I think it was a great episode. It's my Trump impression. I'm working on it a little bit here.
You got to work on that. But I get the what's it called?
Frankly. Yeah.
Nah, it's getting there.
No, but by the time he gets reelected, it'll be perfect. Fuck. I can't be political, guys. Wait, dude, we're supposed to be closing this podcast out.
Yeah, let's go.
Thank you for watching this episode here with Colton Holland. Colton, you have any final remarks, closing remarks?
I don't think I have anything. If you liked what you heard, there's obviously more of my content and my takes and all that information on my accounts that were mentioned at the beginning of it. And if you are interested in coaching after hearing all this information I have to say, you can apply for coaching or even check out my programs and my links in my bios.
Yeah. And don't forget to subscribe and like Stay Diesel.